My name's Jeff Owen, and this is my story. About 10 years ago, God started moving on my wife and I, on our hearts, and said, okay, it's time to move out of the suburbs and move into a town, to become neighbors to folks and try to do ministry in a different setting. So we sold our house with 5 bedrooms and a pool and a dog. It kind of moved into a neighborhood, bought a house for $15,000 and moved in. Rehabbed it, and we've been living here ever since. And the Lord has taught us all kinds of things. We've been able to be a place where our friends from the suburbs and communities can come down and be involved in ministry. But then also, because we're here and we're part of the community, we have neighbors, we have friends. We've been through life together now. We've been through enough. At first, you kind of, there's some distance. You're trying to figure out how everybody operates, and they're trying to figure out who are these people and what are they doing and why did they move in. Even the community has asked that question sometimes. Someone like, what the heck are you guys doing? What we kind of come up with is saying, well, we're Christians and we're just trying to put our faith in the life, but that doesn't mean you have to be a Christian to deal with us or work with us or anything. It's just that if you're trying to figure out who we are, that's why we're doing this. And so things have grown, and we've had relationships, and a lot of the relationships I've had, because I have a youth ministry background with being just with the young kids, the high school kids, and ends up being the high school boys. And they're hanging out at my house all the time, front porch, sit down on any given day, just go through life together. I think a good example of the kind of where you get to is we have dinners at our house where the kids come over weekly, and there'll be like 15 or 20 of them sitting in the house, and you get that phone call that you never really want to get, and that someone in your family, it was my mother, had passed away. I had to jump in the car, and I'm in tears and I'm upset, and the boys see that, and we drive away. And the next day, after dealing with all the details and running around, I was kind of just sitting in my house, kind of staring at the wall, and knock on the door. And some of the boys are there, about 5 or 6 of them, and Dawn answered the phone, my wife, or the front door, my wife, Dawn, and they said, "Is Mr. Jeff in? Can we talk to him?" So I went out on the porch and sat with them and just went through what I've been going through and try to be honest, be real. It's good to just be together. And they told me how sorry they were for what I was going through, and I told them I had faith and the Lord was going to be okay. My mom believed in the Lord, and we're Christians, and we'll make it through. And they kind of got up and they said, well, we're going to come back tomorrow and see how you're doing. But they just walked off, and about 10 feet up the road, one of the kids turned around, takes about 4 steps back. And these are kids that are street smart. They're not used to putting their feelings on their sleeves. And this one young man says, Mr. Jeff, I got to tell you something. I said, what's that? He said, you got to remember something. We're your family too. And it just hit me like a bolt of light. Like, oh my gosh, this is what you live for, that this is happening. And that young man and his friends, they came to my mom's funeral. They came afterwards, check up on me, and they would just be my friend, just like anybody else would have a friend that's worried about their friend. And those kind of relationships have made all the difference. And it's a more authentic way to live. And you have to strip away all these facades that we have and just live among people and be part of community. And that's what we've done. So it's put a different imprint on my life. It's totally changed the trajectory of things. I'm not managing a law firm downtown Pittsburgh anymore, and I'm running a small charity that just kind of grew up through the roots here, and our friends supporting us. And now all of a sudden we have all these different buildings we're trying to keep going and reaching out to the community. So I don't know what the Lord has in store for us, but the next 10 years are going to be something we're really looking forward to. My name is Jeff Owen, and this is my story.